Now, how do we create that urgency? What are all those different reasons? You can wait to buy that new car. Can you wait to get life insurance if you need it? Even if you don't need it. Right? Like, it's very unfortunate what we heard about LeBron's son, right? How old is he? 18? Okay. Tell you confidently, he'll never be able to get life insurance. Yep. He'll never need it, right? But anyone in that position, that's it. You can be disqualified at any point. So I know sometimes it feels like a tactic when we're closing our client, but in reality, there is the level of urgency that's there that needs to be addressed. So let's talk about this, okay? Just let's fly through this. I'm going to bring up Sheila. What's the urgency? You got to have urgency. People say, oh, Samir, I know I need insurance, but I'm really excited about the investments. I get it, but there's not as much urgency with investing as there is insurance. And people that say, I only want to do investments, I don't want to do insurance, you know, I don't want to get into that right now, but it's a. So, number one, you own a home. You know how big of a deal it is for people to own a home? In their own minds. And I guess in reality too, right? It's a process. You saved up. I mean, even if your home is only 500,000, because in this area that's only, right? If your home is only 500,000, you put 20% down. You worked a lot of hours. You saved a lot of money to get 100 grand to put down. And now you and your family are living there. You have a 30-year loan. And most people, with the homes that they're in, they're either they're paying 100% or they're codependent on their spouse's income, man or woman spouse's income, in order to maintain that property. You work so hard, your family lives there, and now, if God forbid something happens to you, that asset can go with you. Has that ever happened where someone died and the family had to sell the home? Of course. How are you going to pay the mortgage? So you work so hard to build something for your family. Why don't we protect that asset? You can even call it mortgage protection. You have a 30-year loan. Why not get a 30-year term? Anything happens, that asset stays in your family. You can pay off your home. Why do you need insurance now? Even if you don't own a home, people are struggling with two incomes. And you know, the thing about our presentation is that it says husband's making, what is it, 3,500, wife's making 35. I haven't met with anybody, like me personally, in 10 years where that was their income. Like, because now, like I know a kid, he's a busboy, he's making $17 an hour. That's $35,000 a year. You know what I mean? Like most people, but here's what I'm telling you. This people being codependent on each other's income is happening at when they're each making 100 and 200 and 300. I was just at my cousin's house. They bought a home. It's 2.2 million. It's not a mistake. It's 2.2 million. Imagine what that mortgage is. Now, I don't know their incomes, but I can kind of guess. And it's probably 600,000. They're codependent on each other's income. Trust me. Trust me. So if you need each other's income and things are kind of like tight right now, tight not that you can't eat, but just you have to monitor everything. You can't go crazy. How much harder is it going to be with only one? This is a great question to ask you. You both fully funding your 401ks, like fully fund 20,500 each? No, you're not, because money must be tight, or else you'd be putting as much as you could in those, right? Now imagine with only one income because something happens to one of you guys. Your kids are young and dependent. Now, I don't always say this out loud, but what I've been taught and what I've heard other people say is, you bring the kids into the world. You're responsible whether you're here or you're up in heaven. Does your responsibility end because you're up in heaven? Yeah. That's a personal question. When you're up in heaven and you're looking down, what kind of positions you want to see those kids in, your family in? A guy called me a couple of days ago. He said, "Hey, I want to reassess my insurance. I want to know when it ends." So I had to make sure he's not looking to catch anything. He was actually just looking into his policy. So he has a 30-year term that he got 12 years ago. So I said, "You have 18 years left." And he is, I think, 50 years old right now. And he's like, "Oh, okay, so it's going to cover me till 68. Is there anything I can do that's longer?" And I was like, "Yeah, you can, but it's going to cost more. I mean, you're in a very low premium right now. What's your capacity to, to invest more into this to make it longer?" And after a long conversation, we figured out he doesn't want to spend any more money. Okay, which is fine. Having life insurance past when you actually need it is a luxury. If you don't want to pay for that luxury, that's okay. So I said, "Let me ask you something. How old is your youngest child?" He said, "Well," "okay, in 18 years, your youngest is 30. I'm assuming you have other kids, they may even be 40. When your youngest is 30, are you telling me you're like going to be concerned that if something happens to you, you want to leave your kid a bunch of money?" And he was like, "I didn't think about it like that. Absolutely not." Right? And I said, I have a suspicion that when you're like 68, you're going to be more worried about your retirement than leaving your kids a bunch of money. This is the end of the conversation. It's like, because everyone is sold with this idea that you need insurance forever, you need it into your old age, you need it into no, insurance is a temporary need. While your liabilities are high, your children are young, you have dependents, but when you are in that situation, the need is very, very high. Eventually that need will diminish and it'll go away. But when you have dependents, if you are a responsible person, a selfless person, you're going to insure yourself to make sure that whether you're here or somewhere else, that your family's going to be okay. You can become uninsurable. I just gave that example. How many times have we heard it's such a ridiculous statement? I don't plan on dying anytime soon. And you have to kind of right? The whole point is for we don't have car insurance because we plan on getting in a car accident. We don't get health insurance because we plan on having a heart attack. Get these things just in case. We do it just in case. We have storage. We talked to them on Friday. They said, "Okay, we'll meet Monday." Over the weekend, they had a TIA. Worst case scenario, we meet with someone, they want to think about it, they want to do something in the future, they pass away. And there's other little things too, right? Like you can get a DUI. Anyone have a client with a DUI? You're uninsurable for years. All kinds of things happen. Your ability to get approved is not guaranteed, even tomorrow. So while we know you can get insurance, when would be the best time to apply and secure that? And this is just another way to look at things, right? You haven't built up your savings yet. If you don't want insurance, you have to be self-insured. You have to have enough money where the home's going to be paid, not all at once, but you're just leaving enough to where your family can survive for the foreseeable future. Up to say 10 years. You have enough savings where your family can survive up to 10 years. You know? So what our philosophy is that you buy insurance until your assets meet and then exceed the value of your policy. So me personally, I have a $2.5 million term policy. When I have over 2.5 million cash, if I want to, I can cancel my insurance because now my savings has taken over that responsibility. It's called being self-insured. Again, LeBron James, Bronny, they don't really need life insurance because they're self-insured. I want to get you to a point to where you're self-insured. But right now you're not. That's why we need the insurance. But trust me, I want you to cancel it as soon as possible. That means we've got your savings to a point to where you don't need the insurance. That's a good conversation to have. And the other urgency is that it's only going to get more expensive, guaranteed. Guaranteed. Every insurance is based on age and health. We're generally not getting healthier, generally. We're definitely not getting any younger. So if it's based on age and health, when is the best time to lock in? Like if you knew something was going to go up every single year, when would you want to lock in? As soon as possible. So your ability when you meet with people to create an urgency in getting started, in doing an application, in getting insurance, in getting the license, the conversation you have when you're skillful here, it's creating that urgency. When you're an amateur, people are basically walking all over. That's what Val is trying to say. You have to posture yourself a certain way. If you come out of the meeting, I know I invited you, you don't really know, but I'm still the employer and right? And you kind of so I'm gonna bring Sheila up here to